Hey! How's it going, guys? Music time! I've got a just a standard straight up reaction for you guys today. Uh, on stream on Saturday. Oh wow, I stream. I stream every weekend. I stream on Saturdays. You can come to the stream on Saturday. Also, I started Discord. There's a Discord link in the description. There's a description. A good friend of the channel, Kit Cabaret, recommended an album for me. We were listening to some campy theater core rock music, and this album that we're listening to today, Raja's Shadow, a musical by Forgive Durden, came up. Kit said that this would be an interesting album to react to. Here I am. Hope you guys like it. I'm going in almost entirely blind, aside from knowing that it's sort of a rock opera concept album sort of thing. From what I've seen, though, it has features from Panic at the Disco, Say Anything, The Deer Hunter, Portugal the Man, and Me Without You. So some pretty big names for 2008 when this album came out. So let's check it out. Just gonna be a straightforward song-by-song reaction today. Figured it'd be fun to go back to my roots. Oh my god. You should like the video. That's such a good idea. Wow. Alright, here we are. Raja's Shadow, a musical. I reread what Kit said when they submitted this request, and they did give a fair warning that it takes itself very seriously. So we're in for some melodramatic hijinks here, and I'm really looking forward to it. So let's see how over the top these guys can go.
This is the beginning and the end, the rise and the fall. Our gate will begin its saunter at the source. Oh, the scientist was the author and the architect. The angels were his ink slingers, his actors and actresses. His two purest talents were Arima and Nidria, two destined hearts, bound by the same idea. The unrelenting constancy of love and hope can rescue and restore you from any scope. In her, Arima confided his curbing frustration. His gifts had been exhausted. Oh, how they'd misused them. She averted his passion and eased his blood, and so he confessed it to her. He had fallen in love.
Aww. Cute. Love that for him. That was a bit more restrained than I was expecting. As this is like a musical, you sort of expect a big opening number, but this was kind of on the more low-key vibe, which was surprising. It definitely showed its flourishes, and I think we're gonna get there. I think we're gonna have that big campy climax later on in the musical. I'm expecting all the full gamut of emotions here, especially with how they're sort of setting the stage with those spoken word passages, clearly laying out that there's a larger story here. This it's called a musical. It's definitely presenting itself as a concept album, a full musical to be experienced, taken as one big package. Um, the vocals, I kind of, and like the almost rougher instrumentation, I kind of got a feeling of Cursive in there. I was surprised. A little bit of that, a similar band that takes themselves so seriously that you just sort of have to get swept up in the emotion and how they're coming across. You have to sort of respect that at some point. So I'm all in. I'm enjoying this so far. I'm hoping that we get those peaks of climactic wall of sound, all the instrumentation coming together. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope that this album delivers. We'll have to see.
He overlooked my gift and benefit. I see her face, the sky and trees all blur. Every time I look at her, nobody understood me till her. Don't you worry, boy, it's a waste of time. Place your hand on mine. Untie your mind on me. My puzzle life's complete now that I found the missing piece. Oh, you're the meaning. Nidria, please listen.
I can see all the people dancing in the background here.
I should have told you sooner. The sun and stars turn dim every time I look at him. Nobody understood me till his eyes fixed upon me. When I see her face, the sky and trees all blur. Every time I look at her.
Arima, the most gifted seraph, the utmost skilled of the cherubs. He felt his aptitude and slate were being misused, shamed. He repined this to O the scientist, who replied with a calm face, expressionless.
Dream with your eyes closed. Try and pluck the pearl from your bones. Dream with your eyes closed. Try and pluck the pearl from your bones.
I love that ending. I love the nice subdued percussion. It was a really interesting and refreshing change of pace. But I also loved the opening to that track too. That sort of big band sort of felt like a more musical version of Somewhere Beyond the Sea. It had that sort of swing to it, that swagger. Really loved that. I love the duet between the male and the female vocalist. Yeah, that was just a great track. Sort of setting up the story too. I am horrible at following along with lyrics and storylines on first listen, but I can tell that they're really setting up. I heard a lot of lines of it's your destiny. This is what you need to do. So they're obviously setting up some larger journey, getting the protagonist going out the door. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm really intrigued by that switch up though. That like it for an album that takes itself so seriously and is trying to be like a big musical number, you don't expect to hear such a quiet and subdued section of a song like at the end of The Missing Piece there. That was a very introspective moment for a very extroverted album.
Could this be the day I waited for? When all my hard work doesn't go ignored. Maybe she was right. They will realize I can change the world. Open up their eyes. They know I am born. Then some nigga blood, not some average bones. I believe in love.
I love the energy of the strings in that. It gave everything such a warm glow. Ooh.
Dream with your eyes closed.
Recurring theme. Ooh.
The pearl from your bones. All the plants pure red, right through my becomes the lands become sky ablaze from the light we paint. Smother on shade, flutter through my blood, breathe through my lungs. Give us all your love.
Realized, but the sculpture of the earth was looked upon by jealous eyes. Arima refused to relent. He demanded to be heard. Let my unique, deft hands be known. Oh, simply just smiled. So, defeated and galled, Arima headed for the dark, brownish spider named Barias.
Awesome. What an awesome transition. I really like how they end these songs. Yeah, with the spoken word passages that are a little obtuse, a little hard for me to grab, at least on first listen. They just sound like sort of word salad coming at me. But I love it. It feels like they're giving the album time to transition between set pieces. Like a real musical, I can see the curtains closing, the narrator coming out onto the stage and talking through a little bit of what just happened and what's to come while they're rearranging everything behind the curtains. I love that. But then I also love how they took advantage of that to put in this really interesting, almost electronic section with those really cool like drum pads that they had going on there, making sure that every inch of this album, every second is filled with something that's moving. There's a lot of movement from one track to another. I loved the recurring theme of Dream with Your Eyes Closed. That I think that was in The Missing Piece that started, and I love bringing that back. That happens all the time in actual musicals. It happens in movies, musical themes that are carried between certain characters and events. But you don't see it a lot in actual albums. Usually an album is one song, and then they move on completely and don't refer to songs that already happened. And so I love that they're taking that aspect of musicals with reprises and with reoccurring themes and bringing into the music. I love that. I think that's something that more bands should be comfortable with doing. I think it's such a great way to make an album such a more cohesive sounding thing. This sounds like it's all one project, as if there was any doubt that this was a concept album to begin with. I got, so there was those warm bouncing strings at the beginning that gave me very Cloud Cult vibes. A really great band from this era, I think, with very uplifting songs, similar to how this one had a theme of Life is Looking Up. Very uplifting music with the instrumentation that matches. Very refreshing and fun. But I also got The World is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die vibes, especially with those vocals. These aren't really vocals of somebody that I would expect on like a Broadway musical, maybe more high school level. But I like that. I like the vocals in this. They're very earnest and they give the songs sort of a rougher quality that I think makes it a bit more interesting to listen to than if we were listening to like an operatic singer presenting these songs. But there were definitely passages in this that felt like they could have been on Whenever, If Ever. That combination of sounds between the rougher emo sound of the World is a Beautiful Place and the energetic, uplifting strings of Cloud Cult. It's a really cool cross section that they're forming here. On to track number 4, The Spider and the Lamps. I wonder if this is going to have another connection to the previous songs, because they had the whole "leave the lamp on." Wasn't that the line?
special gift, but they still treat you like you're a kid. Oh, 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 they don't understand. Oh. It's your chance for revenge. This will show them. Now it's your turn. This is their last chance. No more idle hands. I'll destroy the lamps. Then they'll know who's in control. They can't stop
I could see the stage being pitch black and then spotlights just like hitting different vocalists as they were singing that part. Very easy to imagine as a musical.
The seed had been sown. Now the evil would grow, and suddenly, without warning, their creation was burning. Their design ignited, all that hard work slighted. While the remaining found a new place to live.
That was a lot of fun. So, one reason, like, I'm pretty surprised that I had not heard about this album before somebody requesting that I listen to it, because I was a huge Say Anything fan. I still am a big Say Anything fan. I've met one of my first profile pictures on Facebook was me meeting Max Bemis at a concert, like backstage. Max was a perfect person to include on this project. It literally, before it really got orchestral and musical-y, it sounded a dead ringer for a Say Anything demo. I mean, just Max Bemis brought it hard with this track. It always feels like he's spitting out. He's perfect for like an evil villain or a dark influence in a musical like this. He's like he'll get you to do anything with his like growly, spitty projectile form of delivery that nobody else has. That's such a Max Bemis thing. And then when it transitioned into like the sort of Be Prepared style villain song where everybody was singing from the balcony, singing from above, and telling the protagonist what to do. I guess there's some significance with these lamps because the kid is going to be stealing them, hiding them. I don't know. I'm not super following along with the story, but I do know that something bad is happening. That was a bad song. I loved the orchestration on this. The drumming at the beginning was so good. A lot of great performances on display here. I am still sort of left wanting a little bit more in terms of volume and sort of being overwhelmed by the sound. I want there to be just a cacophony of instruments, and that might still be coming. I mean, we have a lot of the musical left, but no, I'm really enjoying it so far.
So you're a dreamer, collusive dreamer. I watch the lamps fall, you push them over. You snuff the glow, replaced it with coals, threw away the throne. Hope and love. Some boast of foul scent. Laugh on middle taste of pure contempt. Every dark corner will soon see the light. Oh, so bright. The beaming flood will pour right through the blind. The trust.
would be Arima's new her. He would remain while he watched his family strain, and the girl that he loved vacate to a new place, to start over on fresh terrain. Theirs would be the light, his would be the dark.
I really hope they revisit that rhythm and that melody again, because I was like all in on that. I was like trying to listen more to the instrumentation in the background than the narration up front, which is probably a mistake because it sounded like it was important. So I'm sorry, but so it sounded like they're two worlds separating. Jeez, I'm not. I can't lie. I wouldn't even try to follow, but I like that one a lot. That one had a freaking groove to it, and it started sounding like it was getting closer to that climactic wall of sound with those moving strings in the background. It was a lot of fun to listen to, and it sounded bigger than the sum of its parts. Yeah, that was a great track. Yes. Go off.
He screamed out. He knew there was accuracy in the antiquated legacy.
Man, what a vibe. That track was a vibe. Again, they make these transition background sounds so intriguing. I loved the almost industrial percussions at the end there. I loved the vocals in this one. I don't know who Danny Stevens is. Lead singer of The Audition. Okay, I had to look it up. But really great vocals here. Very different than what I would expect from a musical, but really fit the vibe and gave it this nice chill atmosphere, like sort of like uneasy, but also not aggressive. Really cool. I sort of started getting the thought when I was listening to this song that this album, in a lot of ways, is kind of like a time capsule of music in 2008, specifically that sort of pop punk, pop emo side of things, like the Say Anythings, the Panic at the Discos, like the World is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die. It's not on this album, but they were putting out their music around this time, and that sound feels very much emulated here. This feels like an album that is very much of its time and collected all of these different influences and figureheads of the scene in that time and put together this big musical of an album. It's such a cool relic to have of that era. It's so cool that this exists. I wish every big genre did something like this, or just like big scene got together and pulled their like biggest members together and made like some sort of concept album statement. It's such a cool concept, and a very like awesome thing to have to remember these times. I'm getting like nostalgic flashbacks, even though I never listened to this album before because they're artists that I know and the sounds that I recognize from that time. If I had known this album existed in 2008, I 100% would have bought that CD at FYE and played it in my Nissan Sentra that I drove around and had the little visor with all the CDs that I had in there. I 100% would have bought this album and jammed the fuck out to it. Um, yeah, so this is an awesome, this is an amazing little relic of that time period. Next up, we've got what looks like a very meta song. Um, a hundred a 100-year minute-long intermission featuring Danny Stevens again. I love the concept of this song. Very straightforward, very blunt to the point.
And unwind, untie your mind, let your bloated brain balloon and float away. Wet the end of the thread, thimble upon your index, feed the line through its side, draw it from the other side. Tears and seams all turn to one, every stitch and each spool spun.
All right, go off. Go do your acapella shenanigans. Of course, they had to have an acapella song in here. Sounded sick though. Was it a vocoder? Were those vocal effects, or were they actually singing? You know, I'm not sure, but yeah, it sounded really good. Didn't catch the story because I couldn't really hear what they were saying, but I like like I said, I like the concept of the song. I understand that we're moving 100 years into the future in the storyline. Very effective use of storytelling there. All right, let's see what happens after this 100-year intermission with The Exit, featuring Brendan Urie.
Look at all that which surrounds me. I'm supposed to call this home. The dark has become so overwhelming, so why don't I just go? Why can't you be more like your brother? Together you would rule the throne. Evil and darkness that grows underneath you. Why can't you be more like Palace? They always ask, could this feeling deep in you? Your head is in the clouds. You'll be chained here all your life, shackled to the ground. Ever feel like you've been destined for something bigger than you? Brother, you are short-sighted, naive and starry-eyed. You are not the chosen one. This will be your demise.
Atticus, tired of fiction and bound by his ambition, left his home for the city of light.
For something bigger than yours.
This one was probably the hookiest song that we've had yet. The that soaring, yeah, don't you ever. I mean, Brendan, you're a perfect place for him to come in on this album because that was like the soaring thesis statement of the album. Would not be surprised if we sort of hear plays on that throughout the rest of the songs, or if that comes up again at the end as the beginning, or at the end and the beginning, the last song on the album. Yeah, that was great. That was just a fun one to listen to. I don't know if this one has the, according to Google, the most plays on the album. I don't know if it's just because it's Brendan Urie's name attached to it, or if it is actually because it's that catchy song, but probably some combination of the two. Really like gave it a nice punch, a nice entry into the second act. Very, very fitting placement for it too. Now we're on to It's True Love. I can't help but think of the Princess Bride. True love. Okay.
It seems to me like every star agreed to meet right over our heads. Watch this instant, burn this moment into our memory. Let go. It's true love. Is it too good to be true? Can't let her learn about my past. Can't you see that I knew at first kiss we were meant to be? Feel like you've been destined for something bigger than your It's true love. It's true love.
You could taste it in the air. The couple was eager to trade vows, to float away, kneeling on the ground. He would propound to become her prince.
Cute. It was a very Disney princess-esque with the some of the lines there, but wow, that was a great song. The vocalist Greta Salpeter. She was amazing. I love that they gave her the chance to really chew on some of those lines too. She was getting into the show there. It felt like she was really performing those lines. So it really gave this song some weight, some of that like theatric, melodramatic flair that like I've kind of been missing, honestly. I've been missing a little bit of that extra over the top campiness. So yeah, I'm glad that this one really sort of brought that in. It was just a sweet love song. I love the duets in there. And then we're on to Meet the King. So the protagonist's about to meet the king because he wants to marry the daughter because they feel like they were destined for something better, and love was in the air. That was a great line. Ooh.
So you're the boy I've heard so much about. And a rusting ring. I'm the king, it won't be that easy. And hold on to my hand, 'cause I have found my man.
Can't get over this bassoon.
Daughter, my dear, please open both your ears. There is something. So let's sing la da da. All we have is love, my king. So let's sing la da da. All we have is love, my king. So let's sing la da da.
Why she was so green and what had caused the disease. It was his proximity. She was ill from his company. Evil's ubiquity.
I loved how it was sort of ethereal and atmospheric until the narrator started saying what was going on, and then at that same instant that he said that she was getting sick and they knew why, it sounded like a stick breaking. It sounded like there were things rotting and wilting and breaking through the percussion. It matched perfectly with the lines and the narration there. So yeah, that was probably my favorite transitional section so far. And then the song itself was also a banger, just so good. I loved the chorus, the anthemic bit in the middle, the king, the perfect casting here. If we're talking about like purely from a musical standpoint, the king performed really well. Really, it wasn't like, I could see them going more of like an over the top comedic route and having this like gnarly old man perform the lines, but having just more of a sort of gruff vocalist in the same realm as the rest of these vocalists, sort of in a Brendan Urie, Max Bemis sort of wheelhouse, but a little gruffer, a little more maniacal, fit the role really well. And then, I mean, Greta, again, doing a great job as the queen or the princess. Yeah, no, good. And I'm getting into the storyline now. I like this. I like the directions this is going. They've really, I feel like, properly beaten over the head what is going on. So like even somebody like me that does not attach themselves to lyrics on first listen, I feel like I'm following along the story now. And I'm sort of like intrigued in what the what's going to happen next with the characters. And let's find out what's going to happen next with Holy the Sea, track number 11.
It's a story that you may have heard before, told as mythical lore. Sits atop my family tree, then I was truly meant to leave the door down this path set out in front of me, chasing by my head like the wolf upon the sheep. Sheep. The choices he made that day to early live out their prophecy.
The falsetto.
This boy they speak of sincerely sits atop my family tree. I was truly meant to leave the dark down.
All he could do is trust what he knew. He would listen to his gut and live for his love.
I really appreciate the effort that clearly went into this album to keep one foot in pop punk and pop emo and the other foot in theater and musical theater tropes and genre. There are so many points in this album where it felt like they could have gone further towards really hamming it up and being full on like a musical recording, just putting it into an album. But there was a lot of effort put in with the vocals and the production to sort of tone it down and bring it more into the realm of like a pop punk album instead. And that's clear also with these sort of ethereal transitions, these ones that I keep talking about and still really latching onto. They have this great atmospheric element that, yeah, works in a musical, but is also just really great to listen to. and works on their own as sort of transitions between songs in an album like this. Now we've got Dr. Doctor, Give Me the News. Got a bad case of loving you. What is this
Now I
song?
must admit I knew you'd come, the boy and his love. Elope to save her from disease, wash your hands of her blood. Just a bitch. That was too much. Perform these miracles for free. I'm not asking for a lot.
Okay.
It won't cost you a dime. I just want the princess here with me till the end of time.
I can't do this.
But you must, princess.
Sign my life away.
It's the only way.
Their love was free to flourish. But before it could sink in, the front door was kicked in. Standing in its place was Pallas. Driven by malice, he had barged in to challenge Atticus, to prove their love.
Immediately after I say I appreciate how they haven't gone too far into the musical theater direction, they go fully into musical theater with Dr. Doctor. That one was crazy. I really like the performance of that one, but it still felt like there was that root in sort of like post-rock almost, in more contemporary genres and non-musical theater elements that people that maybe aren't super into that genre can latch onto. Like those guitars that came in, and it was like almost like a wall of sound. It felt like the climax of a post-rock track for a minute there. It was really effective at elevating the stakes of the song while also making it enjoyable outside of a musical theater context. So yeah, that was the Doctor really hammed it up there. I appreciate that. That was some campy, over-the-top nonsense. Love that. And now we're on... It's crazy to think we're in the closing. That felt more like a halfway mark than a penultimate track. But now we're on to the end and the beginning. Of course it ends with a track like that because they're saying the beginning is the end at the beginning. So nice way to wrap everything around, I guess.
And serpentining seas, these two have been on quite an odyssey. You're a fool to think this brings
Over as if charmed with chiffon, so she chased her with their conceited coteries.
Maharajas have magniloquently mouthed.
Ask him where he spent his youth. Oh, look at her face. She really doesn't see that hence is the reason she is sick. But I suppose it's in vain since her life is ending. Heart a thumping.
Brother,
Brother, what have I done? My blade has pierced your side. This was never my intent. Oh God, please stay alive.
please listen to my last words before I fade away. This is my gift to you. Live for your love every day.
Please don't let your tired heart stop beating.
You will take care of this spinning sphere. I'll disappear and stay away.
rescue and restore you from any scope.
Gonna wait for my cat to stop peeing before I say anything. You done? You good? She's good. It was an interesting closing. I won't lie, I was kind of hoping for a bit more... Oh my god. I was hoping for a bit more of a callback to the other hooks and peaks of the album and the musical. You know, it's pretty common for musicals to have callbacks and there's the grand finales to other big moments in the shows, like reminders of the highs and lows that they had. This was fitting though. It was you know, a bit of a, obviously we were all in for a tragic ending, tragic conclusion. But I didn't expect it to end that way with the brother killing his other brother. Earlier in the album, like I said, this felt like a time capsule from 2008. And the more that I've thought about that throughout this album, the more that I've thought that this album could only have come out of this era of music. I can't imagine a band putting out a rock opera musical concept album like this nowadays and getting the sort of contemporary influences to join in. Like now Charlie XCX or Carly Rae Jepsen being in a musical album like this to this extent and really taking it entirely seriously like this. This strikes me as an album that could only come out of this era, and I'm so glad that they all these artists came together to help Forgive Dirt and put this put their vision into reality with Reja's Shadow. This is a wholly unique album. I'll be revisiting to understand a bit more of the story, but also just because some of these songs slapped. They were so fun to listen to. So yeah, thanks again for the recommendation. And if anybody else has any I'll listen to anything. Give me an album that you think deserves to, or you know, deserves maybe a second pass. Something from, you know, the 2000s, the 90s, whenever. I'll check it out, and it might even end up being a video on the channel, or at the very least, I'll check it out on stream, and we can all talk about it together. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you on Saturday for the stream, or in the Discord again. I have a Discord. I put the Discord in the Discord on this channel in another video. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, give me a comment, tell me what you think, and yeah, you know, other stuff. Do other stuff with your life. Go for a walk if it's nice out. I could see them all coming down the aisles and singing that as the line was going.